Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to be here. Today I'm going to be discussing a fun topic, which is workforce diversity. This is right up in our alley where we discuss about diversity, its place in society, its place in organizations. So join me in today's discussion. I hope you have actually signed into SoundCloud and you subscribe to my channel, which is Diversity with Diana series. I talk about diversity most of the time, but I also deal with social justice issues. So in today's topic, I just want to dive into it. There are some issues that are so technical that most of the time I find myself wanting to write articles about them first, share them, get reviews before I even think about talking about them on YouTube, for example, recording a video. So workforce diversity, what is the concept of diversity and how do you understand diversity? Diversity has been misunderstood by many people to refer or to make reference to tokenism. I will explain. Now, the intent behind any organization, any corporation doing anything should always be fair and pure. Why I say this is because if your intention of making sure that your organization is diverse is to actually tick certain boxes or meet certain quotas, then you miss the point. You miss the beauty and the knowledge that is in diversity itself. You miss to have the gains included in it. So diversity is basically having a workforce or having a group of people that come from different races, different genders, different ages, different groups. They have different religions, their marital status might be different, basically just differentness. Now that by itself is not a qualifying factor. The qualifying factor comes in the skills that they possess, in the knowledge they bring to the table, in the experiences that they have. You miss the mark when you bring in a diverse group of people and bring them together, and you try to make them sound similar, that you try to make them have a common mindset or a common knowledge. Then you miss the mark in diversity and you won't really fully optimize the gains that there are in diversity. So diversity without inclusion is actually meaningless. I listened to a professor who actually said that diversity without inclusion is hollow. It is hollow because it means that you're bringing people from different backgrounds and expecting them to behave in a certain way, which is similar, which is homogeneous. In the 21st century, we expect that diversity would actually mean that you're bringing together people who are different from each other, but they bring in the different knowledge that they have, the different way of doing things, and incorporating it or blending it in a team context where there's actually productivity, creativity is generated, innovation is realized by your company. In fact, in the 21st century, there's no corporation that will survive without proper diversity having been implemented in an inclusive manner. Now, tokenism, when you do tokenism, like what you've seen in the entertainment industry, especially by the artists, you see a show, this famous show that we used to love, Friends, where after some customer or consumer reviews, they start bringing in a black person, somebody from a different race, and you can see how much they're just trying to make sure that they meet the demand of their viewers. But that's not it. That is actually tokenism. Diversity means that you bring somebody who has been well written into the script, who is going to bring knowledge, who is going to bring fun, who is going to bring a different mindset, a shift in its programming. For example, I have to remember this. Oh my God, I have to remember this. This is, what's the name of that famous sitcom? So it's actually Big Bang Theory. And could you not imagine how the character that was incorporated in that episode, in that series, was there right from the beginning, right from season 1? And we can say that confidently, that was something that was not an afterthought. It did not come to their mind later. They actually intended to have this character in the program from the beginning. So that is diversity there, well implemented in an inclusive manner. So to distinguish between diversity on itself and diversity with inclusion, we can actually think about asking someone to prom. So you can ask someone to prom or you can be invited to the prom, but if you're not being asked to dance on the dance floor, then you're like a token. You were just called there for the optics of it, to tick a box, to check something. to meet certain quotas. But if you're asked to come to prom, which is a nice thing, and then you're being invited to dance, that means that you're being accommodated and you're being encouraged and you're being welcomed and you're being listened to. So then that's where the difference is, that inclusion, diversity without inclusion is not enough. That diversity must indeed have inclusion. So we advocate for that. Looking at private sector organizations, the marketplace is very diverse. If you're in the fast-moving consumer goods, if you are in the clothing industry, the textile industry, if you're in the food industry, the market is a diverse place. So why not have the consumers of your private company to be representative of to have the consumers also being mirrored in the organization? That means your staff have to be diverse and your board of directors or your management have to be diverse as well. That way, in this era, it's actually more inclusive. There's potential to grow. There's invitation of creativity and creative ideas, and that's how you tend to grow. I will actually acknowledge another, a different opinion, or rather a different set of thinking, where if you know that your industry is homogeneous in nature and the tasks are repetitive and you need people to basically do similar things over and over and over, and you don't have room for innovation, there you may consider a less diverse workforce where you probably want a similar people. So yes, you may have racial diversity, but then you lack mindset diversity because you have the same kind of people doing the same kind of things in a very repetitive manner. But if you are in the cutting edge 21st century and you want to be innovative and you want to take advantage of technology and all that, then diversity in skill set, race, gender, age, everything else is not an option. It is actually mandatory, including even things like marital status. You may have someone that is so different in the team that their mindset and their thinking is so different, but looking at the problem at hand or the task that the team has to meet is actually something that they have a different set of eyes to view them with. So then the recommendations that will be made by the diverse team will actually have more gains than losses in the end, in the long run. So this is a never-ending topic. This is a never-ending line of discussion. So this is something that we will be speaking over and over again until we feel like we have reached the level where the women's rights organizations reached all over the world globally, where now we can look at gender representation being a mandatory requirement for most organizations, whether it's in the private sector, in the government, or in the governments, or in the public, in the non-governmental organizations. So basically every workspace is very accommodative to the gender inclusion. But now we're looking at diversity beyond just gender. Diversity does not belong to gender only. It also belongs to different mindsets, different races, different ages, especially age. Being a young person or a young black female, you can imagine how difficult it is to walk through certain doors. But we do it because we come from a different generation. We are more willing to break the barriers. We don't conform to certain requirements or systems that are meant to maybe push us down on the account of experience. Actually, it is known that younger people tend to be more accommodative to change, and we adapt faster to change, and therefore we actually implement tasks faster. Whereas the older generations may be more experienced than us, of course, and then they also have the understanding of the infrastructure and the understanding of the market, which then these two different extremes, the older generation and the younger generation, they actually complement each other to make your companies, to make your corporations much better, to make your institutions much better. So please, I'm going to leave the details below in the description on how you can contact me. Please engage me beyond these videos, beyond the conversations we have online. I would love to share my thoughts with you. I would love for me to be informed by your thoughts and your knowledge that you have amassed over time. And then we can have these conversations to be more productive, and eventually we can get the gains, which is inclusion of everybody in different opportunities that are out there to be accessed and engaged in. So thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.